I hope everyone is doing well. You'll notice I am recording from my office in the Yeshiva after 6 months hiatus from recording over here. Baruch Hashem, we're back in Mevaseret. We just concluded a 6-month galus from Yeshiva, and now we're just finishing up a 2-week quarantine. Shana Bet is already out of quarantine. Shana Aleph is coming out of quarantine tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem, and we are looking to begin the next phase of Yeshiva during these very, very unusual and unprecedented times. As I shared with the boys yesterday, I wanted to share a message. We're going into this quarantine situation, this capsule situation in Yeshiva, and there's a real sense of Kol Yisrael Revim Zelazeh, a real sense of achrayus that every single person has for each other, because indeed, when you're living in relatively close quarters, you're all connected. We're all connected to each other, and everyone has a certain achrayus to others. So in last week's Parsha Kisava, we read about the Tochacha. And the Tochacha shares what happens if we don't fulfill Mitzvah Hashem. And there'll be famine, and there'll be pestilence, and there'll be Makefa. A lot of terrible things will befall the Jewish people. And when we transition from that Tochacha, Parshas Kisava, into this week's Parsha, we find Parshas Nitzavim. The Torah tells us there's going to be that guy that says, yeah, I heard all that Tochacha. I heard all those horrible things that are going to happen if you don't follow Mitzvah Hashem. But don't worry about me. Shalom yeli. I'm good. Everything will be fine with me. I'll have peace. I'll have tranquility. It'll be good. B'shrirusli bi'elech. I'll be fine. I will be fine. And the Nitziv is bothered. How in the world can this person, after hearing all of these horrors, think, yeah, Shalom yeli, I'm good. Everything is going to be fine by me. How is that possible? How do we understand that? So the Nitziv points out, based on the Gemara Maseches Megillah, that if you compare the Tochacha in Parshas Bechukosai to the Tochacha that you find in Parshas Kisavo, there's very, very significant difference. There's a fundamental difference between these two Tochachos. In Parshas Bechukosai, Telechu, the Tochacha is B'lashon Rabim. And in Parshas Kisavo, the Tochacha is B'lashon Yachid. What's the significance of that difference? When you're speaking B'lashon Rabim, you're speaking to the masses as individuals. When you're speaking B'lashon Yachid, as we find in Parshas Kisavo, I'm speaking to Klal Yisrael as a corporate entity. For example, I'll speak about my family is going on a trip. Then I use the singular, because the family is a corporate entity, a single entity, and therefore the singular is appropriate. When I speak about the members of my family, I speak about my son and daughter and wife and son-in-law are going on a trip. The members of my family are going on a trip. That's already singular, because I'm not speaking about the corporate entity, but the individuals that are within that entity. So argues in Nitziv, when the Tochacha is being given to Klal Yisrael as an entity, as a corporate entity, so a person might say, yeah, that's them. He's speaking to them. He's speaking to the group. But me, I'm different. I'm above it. I am separate. What he's saying to them does not apply to me. But when he speaks to every single individual, to Reuven and Shimon and Levi and Yehuda, as Yechidim, then a person cannot escape that the address is to him. And this is a very striking idea in human nature. A lot of times, I'll even see this in Yeshiva, I'll ask for help. And I'll speak to the group. Can anyone help? And usually, not usually, but sometimes, I won't get any volunteers. But I ask, Shlomi, can you help? Reuven, can you help? Levi, can you help? All of a sudden, of course we can help. There's a certain camouflage in the group. Sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing. When you're getting musar, sometimes you can say, yeah, that's not really applying to me, and I camouflage myself within the group. But sometimes when it's individualized, then there's nowhere to escape, there's nowhere to run. And I think one of the striking things about the Magefa that we're in is every individual, when I sent the message to the Yeshiva of how we have to go ahead and operate. Now, as we move to a new phase, as we leave quarantine and move into capsules, so there's more interaction. We are interacting with each other more, and that means there's a greater achrayas, and I spoke, therefore, when I gave my shmuz, I didn't speak to Yeshivat Shari Mevaseret Sion, but I spoke to every single member of Yeshivat Shari Mevaseret Sion. So a person cannot say, Shalom Yeli, this is not going to affect me, I'm not part of this. No, every single individual is part of the klal, and therefore has an achrayas to the klal, and gets elevated by the klal on the one hand, but also has an allegiance and has chiyuvim to the klal in order to, be'ezrat Hashem, allow us to fully succeed. So we need to hear these messages that are in our parashios, and Be'ez Hashem will escape from these tochachos and will be elevated, and will hear the musar that is applying directly to us. The musar of Magef is applying directly to us, and Be'ez Hashem, as we hurtle towards Rosh Hashanah and a new year, Tafshin Pei Aleph, may it be a year that's different, a year that's healthier, a year that we can push forward, and Be'ez Hashem see only good things. Ken Yu Atzah.